was asking for prayer for her neck. Rivers, my wife, said she has a spirit of depression. So I asked her, do you have depression? She starts crying. And so we prayed for that spirit of depression to be delivered out of her, and the anxiety and some other things that came out. And she was completely full of the joy of the Lord. She goes and sits back down. And then about a few minutes later, she comes back up with a neck brace off. And she's saying, look at my neck. Now, we never prayed for her neck. Her neck was completely healed. Mm-hmm. You see, what had compressed her gets lifted off. Yeah. And when you decompress, your joints, your hips, your neck, your back gets straightened out, gets healed. Mm-hmm. But if we had just prayed for her neck without addressing the spiritual issue, she may not have had that healing.
Well, I had a lady that came to the station, mm-hmm. and she was in a walker, and she wanted me to pray. And right in the middle of praying, the Lord said, you can't pray for her. She's got unforgiveness. And so I said, honey, you've got unforgiveness. No, I don't. I said, yes, you do. I said, because God told me. And I said, think about it. Who hurt you in your life? Boy, all of a sudden, here it came. So I said, well, are you going to hold on to it or forgive this person? And she forgave, and we laid hands on her, and running all around the station.
Well, see, it's just, that's an excellent example. Because we don't deal with the stuff, the healing doesn't flow. That's one reason, certainly not the only reason. Yeah. But in this book, I really wrote this book as a how-to. How does God heal? When does he heal? Who does he heal? How do you receive it? How do you keep it? That's another, you have to have a strategy to keep your healing. Mm-hmm. You know, how do you pray for people to receive an impartation for healing? I deal with deliverance in this, because deliverance was a big part of Jesus' ministry, you know, healing and deliverance.
And today we sometimes just look down on deliverance, but deliverance is necessary.
Absolutely.
In many cases. Some of the things, and I want to go through when we come back and talk about some of the ways that are healed, some of the people that get healed, some of the people that don't get healed. I want to talk about all that when we come back.
Absolutely.
And we're talking with Reverend Paul Teske, and he's talking about what God has done in his life. Had a stroke, and God said, I'm going to heal you in 21 days, and he did, and ever since. Now he has a healing ministry that's around the world. Okay. Look what God will do. He's just looking for vessels he can use. And we're going to talk about that. Healing is for today. This is a Lutheran pastor, and a lot of times Lutheran pastors may not believe in that. But
or Methodist, or Episcopal.
Or Episcopal, or Baptist. Something. Sure. It's not for today. It was done away with when the disciples died. Well, I don't see that in the Bible.
Well, it's not in the Bible.
It's not.
That's the great lie.
It is the great lie. And we're going to come back and talk about that in just a minute. But we want to thank you for staying with us, and we'll be back with more of Healing for Today. We'll be right back.
Throughout the world, millions upon millions suffer with sicknesses and diseases. Many will never live to the fullness they were sent to this earth to live in. But hope has been given through Jesus Christ and made plain in Paul Teske's new book, Healing for Today. In this book, Paul reveals his testimony of recovery from a stroke and how he learned of God's awesome desire for us to walk in health with our physical bodies. Discover how to receive and maintain your healing. Let your faith grow as you read story after story of God's healing power in Healing for Today. Healing for Today is available for this special offer of $14.99. Simply call 888-725-8033 or log on to our website, buythebook.tv. Request offer number 245. That's 888-725-8033 or log on to our website, buythebook.tv. Request offer number 245. Buy the book today. If you would like to receive your copy of today's edition of Buy the Book, please be sure to call 888-725-8033 and ask for today's offer number on the screen. DVDs are $14.95 plus shipping and handling and come with 4 total episodes per DVD. Order your DVD of Buy the Book today and call 888-725-8033.
Welcome back. We've been talking about Healing for Today, and a Lutheran pastor driving down the road gets baptized in the Holy Spirit, and something drastically changes in your life. You have a church of 700 people down to 70. That's a big change.
That's right.
And how did your fellow people in your church not your church, but say the denomination, feel about all this that's happening with you?
Well, initially, when I got baptized in the Spirit, you know, it was so foreign to me, and I had nowhere to go for as a point of reference that I just started to try to figure it out through my own reading. And I did find that when I was baptized in the Spirit, that the Scripture started to be illuminated in a different way. So
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
I was below the radar for a long time until I had the stroke and I get healed. But the way God engineered this.
Then what happened?
Well, I was in my denomination of about 10,000 pastors. There were about 30 to 40 mentor pastors, and I happened to be a mentor at that time. So when I had my stroke, people came out from the headquarters, it was almost like Antioch, to see what you know, my condition. And then 5 weeks later, when they saw me completely healed, they knew that it had to be God. There was no denying, because they saw me paralyzed and they saw me healed. So they gave me favor. That's all I can tell you. They just blessed me. From the national president down the chain of command, they just give me favor because they know what I do. I keep them abreast. But see, as a Lutheran, I'm sort of an enigma. I just got back from Canada, where I taught 200 Assembly of God pastors. You know, here's a Lutheran teaching Pentecostals how to be Pentecostal.
Right.
Or in all of Norway or Scandinavia, Iceland, Sweden, Finland teaching. I go to Africa several times. I've gone to India, China, Israel. I just got back from Israel, where I was teaching in the Arab quarter on healing and deliverance to Israeli Arab Christians. But as a Lutheran, I get invited into mainline churches because I'm an enigma. And I get invited into Pentecostal churches because I'm an enigma, you know.
Yes.
And so they don't know what to do with me. They're kind of curious, so they bring me in. But see, when God shows up and they see the power of God, it changes. Let me give you, I was in Greenwich, Connecticut, a very wealthy community.
Yes.
And I went to the Presbyterian Church of Old Greenwich. And at the end of a service, it was a Sunday evening, a woman comes up, about a 50-year-old psychotherapist, and a retina, she had an artery break in her eye and flooded her eye, and she lost her vision completely. So she has no vision in her right eye. She's going to the doctor on Thursday, who's going to drain her eye and pump gas into it and try to repair the retina. And she says, I don't want a surgery. I said, do you believe Jesus can heal you? Yes. Do you want him to heal you? Yes. I said, well, let's just pray for that. And then I got a word. I said, Lord, the Lord is going to heal you. You're not going to have surgery. And you're going to be standing in front of this church next Sunday giving your testimony. Now, she's an elder in the church, too, in this Presbyterian church, Presbyterian USA. So she goes to the retina specialist on Thursday. She's got 20/20 vision in her eye. There's no surgery. She stands up the next Sunday and gives her testimony. And you know what it did? It messed up that church. It was such a paradigm shift. You see, when Jesus showed up, it messed up the community.
Yes.
They didn't know how to deal with it. And so when God shows up in power, it's going to break that paradigm. It's going to change it. And you have to make a choice. I'm either going to stay on the path I've been on, or I'm going to let God be God and go down this joyous, new, exciting path of wonderful opportunities.
Yes.
So that's just one. But, you know, God is an awesome God. He hadn't changed. He's the same today as he was yesterday.
Yes. And what he did, he says we can do.
Amen.
And greater works will we do.
So as a Lutheran, I'm able to take that message, and not only take the message, but with demonstration show the power of God. I mean, I can't heal anybody. Jesus is the healer.
Yes, he is.
I'm just an agent like any of us. And when he starts to show and manifest that power, it gets people's attention. For good and for bad.
Yeah, because it can mess up a church. But isn't that funny? You would think everybody'd want to go down the path of what he's doing.
Hey, listen, Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. What was the response? Kill Lazarus and Jesus. Human nature hadn't changed.
Yeah, it's the same. Well, I was looking at some of the things. Who did Jesus heal? Why did he heal him? How did he heal him?
Sure.
Those are all titles that you have in here.
Yeah, what I did, I felt like I needed to give a guide so people would understand it and know how to implement it. And I used a biblical reference for each example and a real life experience that I had with somebody in healing. And there's a part in